Mhm.
Okay, just tell me when to share.
Yes, you will see it's gonna pop on your screen that we are live. Then you can get started.
Okay.
There you go. We're ready.
Let him laugh, let him weep, let him yell, let him sing. All they wanna say.
Hello, Panjus and Bonani. Welcome to Rise to Greater Heights Network, where you can turn your fears into greater success while seizing new opportunities. It is so significant to have a positive mindset, more especially under these circumstances. So, this network has the potential to completely revolutionize every aspect of your life and career. I am Dr. Riel Nkunene, and I'm going to be host for today. So, if you're watching us online, please feel free to drop in the chat box where you're watching us from and what you hope to gain from our podcast. Today, we are surrounded by greatness in the World Wide Web. We have amazing speakers who's going to share some nuggets on how to rise to greater heights, how to rise to greater heights. So, in Tennessee, we have Ted McClyman.
Yes, ma'am.
And Ted, he's going to share on behavioral financial wellness. And
Eh,
then, yes,
oop.
and then in Mississippi, we have Dr. Wanda Harris Johnson.
Hello,
And
everybody.
yes, Dr. Wanda, she's going to share on mental health. And then in California, we're going to have Felicia joining us. But at this moment, I'm just going to let our speakers to introduce themselves. You can go ahead, Ted, and please introduce yourself.
Well, it is a pleasure to be here. Before we get started, I want to ask everybody a question. Have you ever been asked to buy a gift for somebody and run to the store and spend more money on yourself than the person you're buying the gift for? Or are you just the opposite? You hate going to the store, you hate spending the money, and you hate giving gifts. It doesn't matter which behavior is natural to you, but you need to know what it is. This is a dirty little secret in the financial services industry that nobody's talking about. Success with money is about managing your behavior than your money. On this sessions, I'm going to walk you through my latest book, Confessions of a Reformed Financial Advisor. Yep, it's mostly BS. And I'm going to give you some tips on how to immediately start spending money by understanding the three things that conspire against you every time you open your wallet and my amazing, easy to use 5 step behavioral money system. So button up, we're going to change your life.
Wow, it's an honor to have you, Ted. Like, I'm so hungry. You've mentioned that financial planning is all about managing your behavior than your money. Wow, that was just profound on its own. So I am really hungry. I'm hungry to learn more about your message today. And thank you for being with us. Thank you for saying yes.
It's my pleasure.
Yes, you can go ahead, Dr. Wanda, and please introduce yourself.
Well, good morning, good morning, good morning, everybody. I am Dr. Wanda Harris Johnson, and I'm excited to be a part of this podcast this morning. I've been a mental health therapist for 30 years now, and I'm also a college professor. I teach psychology at Jackson State University, Mississippi's urban HBCU. Yay! And
Hmm.
so I've been teaching there for a few years, and it's an exciting journey to work with college students. Um, I love doing therapy as well. So I've been in private practice for the last 10 years. And so I help people all the time. College students is probably my favorite population, but I'll tell you guys, there's no population I have not worked with. So I pretty much worked from, just like early interventions with kids that were like as young as Head Start all the way to geriatric adults. And so today I'm excited to share some mental health tips with you guys, regardless of the stage of life that you're in, and what you need to do to be on top of your mental health and to manage those things about yourself so that you are always successful.
Wow, it's an honor to have you, Dr. Wanda. Like, as you're introducing yourself, I'm like, you wear many different hats.
I
Sometimes
do.
it really depends who's asking you that question. What do you do? Because you'll be like, I'm doing this. Wow, it's an honor to have you. And I am really looking forward to hear more of your message. More especially, mental health is our wealth. So that's where our wealth lies. And it's an honor to have you. I'm looking forward for your to hear your message, Dr. Wanda. Thank you for being with us. So, Ted, I have a question for you. I have a question for you. If you happen to have your own billboard, I can see your billboard coming down there in the busy highway in Tennessee. What will your billboard say? You are muted, sir.
I apologize for that. The conventional wisdom about money is wrong. Manage your behavior, then your money.
Ooh, wow, just drop the mic. Drop the mic. Manage your behavior and then your money, because we've been told that it's all about money, money, money. But what if your behavior is not well managed? You're not going to be able to handle that money. You're not going to be able to control your spending if you don't know, if you can't acknowledge your own behaviors when you have money. What do you do when you have that money? Wow, I love it. I love it. So how about you, Dr. Wanda? Maybe your billboard is already down there in the busy highway in Mississippi. I don't know. What will it say?
I'm sorry, I missed that question because I was changing devices. Was able to get on my computer. Can you give me that question again?
Okay, I'm asking if you happen to have your own billboard, what will your billboard say?
If I had my own billboard,
Yes.
what would it say?
Yes.
I don't know. The title, the name of my business is Uniquely Yours Life Solutions. And what I really pride myself on is tailoring solutions for people. I'm a very solution focused therapist. I do engage in a lot of emotional processing, but I would probably say something about coming and seeing me to get your own unique life solutions. If I had a billboard.
Come and see me to get your own unique life solutions. Yes, in life we need accountability partners, and I believe that you are the one. You are the one. So we're gonna get started. Let me grab his bio here. We're gonna get started from Mississippi. We're going back to Tennessee, where we have Ted. Is it McClyman?
Yep, Lyman with a Mick.
Oh, there you go. Yes, Ted McClyman is a behavioral finance expert who helps people align their money decisions with how humans actually think, feel, and act, especially under stress and uncertainty. At the center of his work, excuse me. At the center of his work, what Ted calls the rational spender fallacy, the belief that we can make perfect financial choices simply by knowing the right math. His time in the Marine Corps taught him humble and repeatedly that even the best tactical plan can fail if it doesn't account for how people actually behave under pressure. That insight is what ultimately pushed him beyond traditional finance and into behavioral finance, where the real drivers of decision making can be addressed. That's why Ted teaches that money is a behavior problem, not a math problem. His approach builds practical systems and decision rules that make progress easier without relying on willpower or perfection. So today, Ted is going to be sharing a message on behavioral financial wellness. So kings and queens, please join me and welcome Ted McClyman.
Thank you so much. It's such a pleasure to be here. And little context. I when I grew up, I wasn't around a lot of money. I grew up in upstate New York in the Finger Lakes, and it was cold, had more snow than cows and anything else. Money was not a big issue. At least I didn't think so growing up. But it wasn't until I got to college at Colgate that I started seeing different behavioral uh, activity with money. And I actually wanted to start chasing some sunshine. So I thought a commission in the Marine Corps would do that. And the Marine Corps had the foresight to send me to Hawaii. Wow. Hawaii is introduced to primary colors, sunscreen, sunglasses, and crazy money behavior. I was doing it myself, but more importantly, I was watching bad money choices influence relationships, security clearances, performance, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And the reaction that we were taking was reactive, not proactive. And we thought the solution was as simple as just giving everybody another way to do a budget, and it failed miserably. Fast forward, did a tour at the United States Naval Academy teaching economics. There I worked with some of the brightest people in the United States, young kids that really got their act together. But what we found is they were acing my courses in the classroom, but failing in life with money. And it was so bad that they were losing commissions and they were getting thrown out of the Navy and the Marine Corps. And we had to start working on how to fix that. But again, the solution was not behavior, it was another tool, another technique, and it didn't work. Ended up as an aide to the Secretary of the Navy for financial management, worked with our political class, the House, the Senate on budget issues and things like that. And I don't even want to get into how politicians act with money. It didn't work. I decided to become a financial advisor because I thought I could start helping people really behave better with money. And I was very good at it. But I became very discouraged because the financial industry, to my surprise, really didn't care an awful lot about the average client. Unless you had 2 or 3 commas in your net worth, you were kind of on your own. I was just a high-paid sales guy. Now, I was very good at it. So after a couple of years, I quit, opened my own firm, and we went into the behavioral practice. Money was all about how you think and feel and act as a human, not a robot. And it was immediately successful. Wrote my first book then. That was picked up by J. Alexander Martin by the FUBU Corporation, and he and I collaborated on a couple of books. But to go full forward, what I do now is help people understand that as humans, we're always going to do human things with our money. And the traditional industry doesn't accept that, but we accept behavior in every other aspect of our lives. We have a health coach, we have a diet coach, we have a running coach, we have a swimming coach. But when it comes to money, we seem to think you're going to all of a sudden move into this other box and be very rational and do that kind of stuff. Unfortunately, it doesn't work for about 70% of the people. And that was my motivation to do something different. What I started talking to my clients about was them, not money, their behavior, not money. And I realized that my job was to manage behavior, not money. And here's something else that's really important. In today's technology, the aspect of managing money is not as complicated as it used to be. AI is going to change the whole world. But here's what you need to understand. There are 3 things that conspire against us every time we think about spending. We're always going to do the human thing first. First, it's our biology. Our brain biology is ancient. It was designed to keep us alive, chase opportunity, and pass on our genes. Nowhere does it say that it's good at doing taxes, figuring out a spreadsheet, or making change. And that reality is our biology hasn't caught up with the economy. Money's only been around for a few thousand years, and our economy is changing at warp speed. So fundamentally, our default is our emotional side, where 95 to 99% of all spending is unconscious, automatic, and emotional. Don't believe me? Check your closet. So that's the first thing. We never talked about the biology. The second thing that conspires against this is our behavior, our belief set, and our culture. How we think and feel about money starts very early in life. By the time you're a toddler, if you've ever seen a toddler going through the supermarket in the cereal aisle, you know they understand scarcity and abundance. You can watch it. They understand how the economy's exchange works. So we start our basic values about money very young, but they get solidified by the time we're in our mid-teens, and peer group becomes the dominant factor. Then the other thing that conspires against us is our culture. It was pretty easy a few years ago when I grew up. I had not much of an awareness of anything out of the small town I grew up with in upstate New York. Today, I've got a granddaughter that is aware of things that are going on around the world. She knows she needs a t-shirt from a K-pop band in Korea she doesn't even speak the language. So culture is a dominant driver that is priming us and telling us emotionally what we should buy, how we should buy, and how we should have it. And social media becomes a problem. The next issue is technology. Technology allows us to do crazy things with money quicker in different places instantaneously. I read a kind of a frightening post in the news a couple of months ago about a young lady that was just devastated when she finally figured out that Apple money was real money coming out of her savings account. She didn't realize it. And here's a little footnote. Our brains work with real money different than digital money. It's easier to spend digital money and credit card money than it is real money. So I started looking at this and I needed to figure out how can I bring this all together and start giving my clients a roadmap that was very easy, common sense that anybody could use. In my current book, Confessions of a Reformed Financial Advisor, I laid that out. It's a 5-step program and anybody can do it. You can see it on my website. You can also see it in the book. So I can get into that a little bit later in more depth if you'd like me to. Have any questions?
No, keep going, sir. Well, I'm listening.
Okay. Well, let me walk through the steps. As a financial advisor, I learned a very traditional way to put together a financial plan, and it started with goal setting. Everybody's got goals. And almost every financial advisor I ever talked to, that's where the process starts to get you to buy stuff. What are the goals? I want a house, college education, new car. I don't care what it is. And they use a very, very simple formula: time, money, rate of return. If you give me enough money and enough time and a reasonable rate of return, I can get you anything. But there's one part that's missing. It's the new common denominator, and it's called behavior. Traditional finance, financial planning, and literacy ignores the human piece, the behavioral piece. Why? That's another story in its own right. But you have to understand that the most important component is understanding and managing your behavior. If you got a partner, spouse, or siblings, I bet you all handle money differently. And that's natural. So I had to figure out how to do something for my clients to get them more engaged and get them to understand what really is important about money. And it starts what I call the value discussion. I asked them to sit down and answer the question, what's important about money to you? Wow, that's different. That's different than setting a goal. Because when I say what's important about money to you, I'm talking about values. And values are usually legacy, taking care of kids, comfortable retirement, giving back. It's not a new car, a new house, and better clothes. Can you see the difference? Values are critical because values drive your beliefs. Your beliefs put you in the spending mood. So what I learned that values are critical. And when I sat down with a couple in different groups, that often they had different values that nobody knew about. But that's the undercurrent that drives all your spending. Then I said, okay, let's figure out how you're naturally wired. I call it your money temperament. That's your natural money spending fingerprint. It's unique to everyone. You all have a unique fingerprint. However, the traditional industry assumes we're all the same. That's why you see cookie cutter programs, one size fits all. Why you see the gurus up there saying you can be just like me if you do just what I do. Unfortunately, that doesn't work well because you're not like those. There's nobody else that's like you. And I find it ironic that you will accept behavioral differences in coaching in almost every aspect of your life except for money. I'm on a mission to make money behavior as important as a health coach. So once you understand your money temperament, and I don't care if you're a spender or saver, that is not the point. You need to know what it is because the next step is to make sure when you are spending, you get the information in a way you can use it. That's called learning style or learning modality. Are you a visual person? You like pictures and graphs? Are you an auditory person? You need the word, or do you like to play with it? Do you want to build it out yourself? It doesn't matter, but that's also unique to you. So, in a very important spending decision, let's say you're going to go in and buy a new car. And this is how our biology tricks us. You can now buy a car and build a car online. Your brain doesn't differentiate whether you're online or you're in the car dealership. It automatically, with mirror neurons, puts you in there, and dopamine, the feel-good transmitter, anticipates the person, and you can see the car, you can smell the car, you can feel what it's like. You go into the dealership and it's even better. And it's harder to resist what I call your natural feeling brain because it wants you to go buy that. Then you go in and buy the car, and you have to switch to your thinking brain, which is uncomfortable. And that's hard for a lot of people. But unfortunately, that's why you end up with this extra $10,000 navigation system in a car you really didn't need and a navigation system you're not going to use. So I learned very quickly that if you're going to be successful with money, you need to first identify your values. Second, understand how you're naturally wired, your money temperament. And third, make sure for very, very important decisions that you're getting the information, that you get it in such a way that you can use it and you can control your emotional brain and make those important decisions with your thinking brain. Then build your strategy, which should be value driven, behaviorally based, given to you in a way you can use it, and designed for you. That means you're unique, so you need a unique strategy. Then go out and buy the products and services that are going to help you achieve what's important about money to you. That's my system. And I'm launching a movement because we need to change the world. People are not doing well with money. It's tough right now. The economy is a challenge. Now more than ever, you need to understand the behavioral piece, because the traditional analytical piece of plug and chug with spreadsheets and numbers and math is becoming very, very easy with new technology. So now it's time to focus on the behavioral piece. Does that help?
Very, very helpful. Very helpful. I'm still taking notes. Yes. I'm not too sure if you are already at the end of your message or.
Let's see, got any chats coming in? There we go. Okay. Dr. Harris, I would have a question for you. I mean, you work with human behavior all the time. And I bet you've got people you've worked with that their behavior also is reflected in their spending, and their spending
Yes.
is reflected in their behavior.
Yes, absolutely. We can people can tend to be, like you just said earlier, emotional buyers. And sometimes we can buy really big things because of how we're feeling at a particular time, or especially if there's something that's let us down or disappointed us, or we feel like we've had a loss in some way or another. We want to recover from that with a little retail therapy, go out and
Yeah,
buy some things. Sometimes some people may go out, and if they're going through something, I guess if they have the credit for it, they may buy a new car, even if they don't need one,
right,
just because
right,
they can get
absolutely.
it or something like that. So people are
Yeah,
very much emotional buyers.
and when I was teaching at the Naval Academy, I found this is a real issue with college students because they don't have the guidelines. They don't have
Mhm.
the governor, if you will. They haven't had enough life experience, and it's very easy to get in with a group of people that often have more money than you did and get
Ooh,
wrapped up in that. And by the time you leave school, not only do you have a lot of student debt, maybe, but also some legacy debt, and that's a tough way to start your career.
very much so. I very much experienced that, and I'm going to share some of my stories that go along. With having to sort of reset my credit and everything once I got out of college and everything, and then getting a lot of student loans, just trying to, I hate to use the term keep up with the Joneses, but you had some students that came in that already had cars and all those types of things. And I did get one before
Absolutely.
I left college, but which was a very smart buy with the student refund, like getting a car. And so I already had a car by the time I graduated college. And so my dad was in the military. He had a great job. So he ended up, paying for it until I got my first job. And uh, little to my knowledge, he had paid it so far ahead, I didn't have to pay any notes for a while when I started
Wow.
working. So, but yeah, starting out with those student loans and then credit card debt you're trying to get rid of. I mean,
Yeah.
I had to, get that, fix that in the next couple of years, and then I was doing fine. But especially coming from, because my parents were not together. So coming from like a single parent home, and then I already was a parent myself. So I was a little bit behind and trying to, we're like not where exactly where I needed to be, but but for an 18-year-old who was a mom already, I had a lot of work cut out for me. And that stayed on my mind all the time. Like, I'm already someone's mom. I can't lollygag. I gotta get out of school. I have to graduate on time, and I need to get my money together. And so I stayed focused on those things the whole time I was in college. And it came out pretty good for me, but it took a little while to kind of learn to balance those things out.
That's a lot of pressure. That's a lot of pressure for somebody that's
Mhm.
under 25 years old. And that's the problem. And I also would assume that there were few places you could go to that would talk about the reality of the money because one, you weren't in a position to buy anything new.
Mhm.
Nobody really wanted to help you, and all they were going to do is teach you how to balance your checkbook
Mhm.
or another budget, another budget, another budget. Unfortunately, it doesn't work that way. If you're not wired to do a budget, you're not going to do a budget. Now, you do have to figure out how to manage it one way or the other. But the problem I have, I used to teach a course at financial literacy, one of the local community colleges. And it was fascinating because taught the same course at the community college as I was teaching the course at the Naval Academy at the same time. Now, the Naval Academy is a unique institution. Everybody is highly screened. It's the most homogeneous group of people I've ever met in my life. Sometimes get a discussion that is broad and diverse. It's very hard, and they're very bright. But at a community college, I had a little bit of everything. I had folks that were working on, they needed the course as a prerequisite for a master program for one of the universities across town. I had people that English is a second language. It was very difficult. But what I determined there was it was amazing how I could speak exactly the same thing to a very different audience, and it was assimilated differently and they executed differently. And it really drove home to me that we have to focus on the money equation as a behavioral problem, not a money problem. And that's where I really started getting into it. And I started working with some kids that were getting some problem with money, and we'd sit down and really hash it out to try to figure out what was going on, giving them some tools. And I still get notes from them that it was very beneficial. But it's easy to slip, very easy to slip because of social media, the bombardment we're getting every day to buy stuff, buy stuff, buy stuff. It's natural for us to have a little envy that I don't have what somebody else has. So we need to fix that. So there's a lot of dynamics going here, but it's all emotional. And to me, that's the takeaway.
Yeah. Wow. I believe, your topic, Ted, it just needs the whole day for you just to pour yourself out. But I really appreciate your nuggets that you've dropped on under behavioral financial wellness. You've mentioned that the conventional wisdom about money is completely wrong because success and wealth are created by focusing on managing your own behavior rather than your money. Once you're able to manage how you handle the money, then you are going to be able to manage your finances, because you've mentioned that humans are not hardwired to manage money well, because our ancient brain, our biology is designed to keep us alive, pursue opportunities, and then pass on our genes. You've mentioned tasks like doing taxes, making change, and reading the small print in a contract are not high priorities in our lives. So right now, you've just shared your wisdom so that someone out there can apply what you've shared today in our real lives, because we need this information. We need, like when we say financial literacy, I believe financial literacy, you're supposed to be taught as early as grade 1 or even kinder, just how to manage your finances. Wow, thank you so much, Ted, for such a profound, much needed message. I believe our audience have been inspired. I believe our audience will apply the same principles that you've shared with us today. Thank you so much. We appreciate it.
It's a pleasure. Check out my website. There's a free guide on there to get you started. Sign up. I'd love to work with you. Let's get together and change the world.
Yes, one human being at a time, right?
You put
Right,
your
right.
website in the chat.
Yes, yes, I've already tagged you, so you're gonna be able to share your link, Ted. Thank you so much. So
Got
from
it.
Tennessee to Mississippi, we have Dr. Wanda Harris Johnson. Dr. Wanda Harris Johnson is a licensed professional counselor supervisor in Mississippi and Louisiana. She's also a visiting assistant professor at Jackson State University and also an ordained minister. She's been in private practice as a therapist for 10 years and having been a therapist for 30 years. Wow, wow. She is a wife and the mother of 3 adult daughters. So, kings and queens, please join me and welcome Dr. Wanda Harris Johnson.
So I'm so excited to join you guys today. The main thing I really want to talk about with mental health is like the things that are happening in your life and just really managing your emotions, and then knowing that you have the power to determine what direction that your life goes in. Dr. Ted said a whole lot of things today, like about managing your behaviors. So it was really, really, really a great start, a tough act to follow because you talk about money. But I was thinking about behaviors. And so I know for myself, when I was a college student, was a time that I experienced some trauma in my life. I dated someone who became suicidal. That person did complete suicide, and I was a sophomore in college at that time. And so I had to navigate those muddy waters and then to continue my education. And as I mentioned earlier, I was already someone's mom. So I had a lot of things on my mind as a college student. And so little did I know, but some of the things that I had already gone through was what led me to a career in mental health. Some people, I always share with my students that when I went to college, I was an accounting major, actually. So I liked those kinds of things and finances and money. And so I did end up using that, of course, on this side, becoming a business owner years later. But accounting turned out to not truly be the path for me. And so I always share with students the importance of writing because I wrote a research paper in my senior year in high school that was about mental health. It was about mental illness and all different kinds of struggles that people have. And it was a really fascinating world for me. And between that time and my senior year in college, everything has shifted for me. And I ended up changing my major to psychology. And needless to say, I was a person that came into college as an honor student, person that always had good grades and things of that nature. And then when I was in accounting, and especially after that trauma that I experienced, boy, those business classes seems they got more and more boring by the semester. I mean, I absolutely despised economics. But when I changed my major to psychology, everything skyrocketed, and I was a Dean's List scholar and all these things again because I was very interested in what I was studying. And so I love the idea of working with people and helping people and really trying to learn about what makes the mind, how the mind works, how people work, and these different kinds of things. So I did write one of the components of my dissertation was about emotional intelligence. And I just want to kind of mention that a little bit this morning. And that is really, working to manage your emotions and then being sure that you have the bandwidth or the capacity to accommodate the emotions of the other people around you that you're dealing with, whether that's your spouse or your children, the people you deal with at work. And it is sometimes a big task because, trying to keep a lid on things while you're sort of listening to someone else can be a little bit difficult. But emotional intelligence is a huge key to being able to maintain a balanced and successful life. So we don't have a lot of control over the things that people are saying to us or doing around us, but we have all the control over how we choose to respond to those things, and then managing our emotions in the process, finding healthy outlets, learning how to relax, learning how to deep breathe, And then engaging in proper sleep hygiene. This is something I tell people all the time. What were you doing right before you sleep? Somebody said, what is sleep hygiene? What were you doing around your routine to go to sleep? It's important for us to be able to get enough sleep every day to manage our health if we have any challenges in our lives. So we need to see our primary care provider a couple times a year. But then before we go to sleep every night, do we practice a calming routine? Do we deep breathe? Do we put something on the television that's calming that we could go to sleep to, or something of that nature? Sometimes people have like white noise machines and all these kinds of things, and they're helpful to them, but you need to make sure you clear your mind. I always tell people also to avoid any upsetting conversations before you go to sleep, or challenging interactions. And get off social media, because if you're on social media before then, you may see something that's so engaging that it keeps you up, or you find yourself thinking about it a whole lot, or you get into a deep conversation with someone. And never, ever, ever start up a new Netflix series before you go to sleep at night. You definitely will keep going. One more episode and then I'm going to sleep. So these are some things that are practical tips that we can apply, like in everyday life. If we have any trauma or challenges or losses, we definitely need to seek therapy. This is one of the things that we were taught in graduate school, that it's important for you to check on yourself. What's going on in your life, and what are the things that you need to work through, or the things that you need to kind of sit down with. And so one of the things that's crucially important for me to be successful in the midst of managing mental health is I always have a vision board. And so to remind me of the things that I'm working on. I've always been a very goal-oriented person as well. And those are things that really actually keep you going. You need to have something to look forward to. What are you doing with your life? And one of the things I ask people when they come in, it's like, what are some of the things that you would like to see change in the next 30 days, the next 60 or 90 days? And so those short-term goals, and then we begin to work on those things. And they may have like two or three things, and then that actually becomes a part of their treatment plan. So having goals and making sure those goals are not too big, but you can break them down into bite size. That's why I say, what do you want to see change in the next 30 to 60 days? And so those can usually be some very, short, tangible things that people look at, like maybe they want to do better at work, or maybe they want to improve their marriage relationship, or whatever those things are. But starting with small goals and then taking a series of smaller steps always gets us to a bigger goal in that process over time. And so that's also very important to your mental health, having a vision for your life, having a direction that you're going in, and then following that path. I can't think of anything else uh, right now in terms of those things. Or do you have any questions for me?
Dr. Harris, what I find fascinating is when I talk to professionals about yourself, like yourself, you are taught saying the same thing I'm saying. I just use money terms.
Mm-hmm.
And the mission that I think you and I have, and maybe we need to talk about this at some time, is how do you bring the two together? Um, I find it fascinating that you can get a PhD in what you just talked about.
Mm-hmm.
You can use your information in all kinds of areas and everybody totally accepts it. But then I come over to my wheelhouse and they go, no, it's not important.
But you're the person like with the financial expertise, and you've been a financial advisor in the past. I always love listening to those kinds of conversations, especially I would say if I could count the number of times that I've been to see a financial advisor or somebody that actually had that kind of expertise that came to my church or something, it was extremely valuable, because that's one of the things that really is not taught enough in the church world like it should be. And people are believing God for a lot of things, but are behind financially. They don't have the
Yep.
credit profile. They don't have the assets, all these things. And we need to learn those practical steps towards being financially healthy is as important as all of these other aspects of health. So it's important for us to manage credit, build savings, plan for retirement, all those things. because that definitely keeps us mentally healthy. So you can imagine I'm 55 years old. Imagine being 55 years old and you don't have anything saved or you don't have a
Oh,
retirement plan.
yeah, absolutely.
You would not, your mental health would be like, oh my God, how much longer will I have to work? So,
I agree with you 100%. I think there's tremendous value working with a professional. But I
hmm
think as a client, you've got a responsibility that one, you're working with a person that can work with you, that you're aligned
hmm
behaviorally, but
yeah.
also that whatever is put in play is suited for you. Let me give you an example. I worked with a client a number of years ago. It was a senior executive, and she was making good money. And this is a
hmm
while back, at least $200,000 a year
Ooh.
um, net. I mean, that's a pretty good ticket. And
Yeah.
I did the profile with her, walked through it, and I said, "Well, you're just naturally wired as a spender." And she got very offended. She said, "That can't be. I'm very analytical, blah, blah, blah." I said, "But her baby behavior didn't indicate that." And I said, "That's true." She goes, I'm saving for retirement. Now she's making
Mhm.
$200,000 a year and she's saving $6,000 a year for retirement. And the valet at Nordstrom's knows her name and her license plate. So I'm not saying that's wrong. I'm saying what I had to do then is sit down and design a custom program for her that fit her behavior. We put everything on auto pay. We got all the important things taken care of, and I was the technician. And then basically I told her on the 5th of the month, anything left in your checking account is yours. You can do anything you choose with it. So she still had the behavioral emotional tie of being having the freedom that she wanted to spend her money.
Mhm.
But we also took care of the other emotional tie that she was ignoring about the future. That's what I
Mhm.
mean by working with a professional that understands the behavioral piece. Most come in, and this is why you've got to do your due diligence. A cookie cutter approach only works for people that are buying cookies. Does that make sense? Uh, and let me give you a better metaphor. Let's say, Dr. Harris, you came in and said, "Ted, I just got a Miata and it's a 4-speed and I don't know how to drive it. I want you to teach me how to drive that Miata." I go, "Okay, I can do that. I can do it from here. I'm going to send you a 7 or 8 YouTube videos. I'm going to send you an engineering diagram of the transmission. We're going to talk about how the car is designed in corners and all that. Then I'm going to give you a little exam and I'll give you I'll mail you the keys and good luck." You'll kill yourself. Or I can say, "Dr. Harris, what's important about a car to you?" Are you going to drive a truck? You're going to drive a Miata. What's important about a 4-speed? Well, okay, we're going to figure that out. What's important about a Miata? We're going to figure that out. Then we're going to say, okay, let's ask some other questions. How are you behind the wheel emotionally? Are you one of these people that gets really excited and blows up in traffic? How's your dexterity? Do you have the manual dexterity to use the 4-speed? We need to
Mhm.
figure that. How's your hearing, your eyes, and all that? So physically, are you wired to do that? Emotionally, you're wired to do that. Now I know what you want to do. So let's sit down and design a custom program that fits you. Then on that performance-based program, I'm going to be with you all along the way to add some guide rails. So we're going to start someplace in a parking lot where you're not going to hurt anybody and destroy the car. Not a bad idea. Then you're going to be a little bit more comfortable, a little bit more comfortable, and a little bit more comfortable. Then once you demonstrate from a performance, behavioral, and emotional point of view that you can actually take that thing out in traffic, then go in. We're going to give you the keys. I help people drive money. That's different. I don't teach people how to build money programs. And Dr. Harris, that's what you do. You teach people how to build their lives emotionally, unique to them. I just wish we had more people like you on my side, because most of the people I've talked to on my side, it's you've got to, not enough people are going in the direction I'm talking about. It's getting more popular. But to be candid, I think they make it too academic. It's not. I'm just talking about common sense. Know
Yeah.
yourself. You're human. You're going to do human stuff all the time. That's your default. You're an emotional being that thinks. You're not a thinking being with emotions. And if you put it all together and then lay the money piece on top and you know where you're going and why you're doing, you're probably going to be okay. We make
Well,
it a
I'm
lot more
so happy to
complicated than.
collaborate with you in the future. We can try to contact each other after this podcast.
Oh, absolutely.
But you know, you're reminding me of something. Um, this very emotional buy purchase that I had probably 20 some odd years ago. It was a 4-speed car, a Pontiac Grand Am, and I will never forget that very expensive lesson my father would say, that the bought sense that you got, you know. So because it was something that I bought just because I could, you know, because I was in a situation, I moved back home, I was working. I didn't really have rent at the time. So I was like, oh, I can afford two Cardinals. No, that was just a
Oh
bad
yeah.
decision. That car, I ended up letting a cousin of mine take over the car that I'd had when I was in grad school. She never really paid for it. I have no idea why. And so, because she was really needing a car at the time. And then the car that I had ended up having a bad engine in it. And, you know, of course, we didn't have the internet at our fingertips in 1999 like we do now, so that we could just look up stuff and see the information about the car, about cars and stuff. But now, you know, people are going to thoroughly, usually, if you've done a few emotional things like myself, you are going to do some research. You know, what are people saying about this company? What are people saying about this type of car? You know, and those types of things, and getting your information so that you can make an informed decision about whether you need to purchase it or not. You know, so in this age that we have so much information available to us, we need to really take advantage of that. So that
Oh,
helps
that
to
is
guide our
huge.
behavior and help us to manage our decisions as well, because we can get the information, you know, out here without sometimes without ever leaving your house. So you can be laying in the bed on your phone and you can find
Yep.
out about the things that you're thinking about purchasing or places you're thinking about going. You got a time thing on there? Oh, your music is playing. So it's so important for us to get the information that we need, that will help us financially, because I'm telling you that is one of the biggest things that can really not only stifle a person but cause a person to feel frustrated and overwhelmed all the time when they have financial problems. When you feel like, and then right now we're living in a time where, you know, the dollar has shrunk so much, it's hard for everybody to even barely, you know, it's like we feel like we're barely getting it because everything is so expensive now, you know. So, and being able to feel like that you have a hold on those things, managing your expenses, and, you know, just not buying stuff that you don't need. You know,
Oh,
because
yeah, and
when
the
we get to a
cultural
certain
drivers.
age, we bought so much anyway. You know,
Yeah.
you can only buy so much stuff.
Yeah, the cultural drivers are huge, and that's more of an issue than it was a few years ago. I think really to really distill this thing is as humans, we like stories, we don't like numbers by nature.
Mhm.
We seek to confirm, not to deny. So when you see something you want to buy, the first thing is you go on social media and everybody says, yeah, that's a great idea. Why don't you get two of them? Instead of that's dumb. Uh, Sometimes we're just lucky and not brilliant with money. Some people lose sight of that fact that they think they can actually control the market with more numbers and more. You can't. It's always a backward looking correlation. And the fact here's the better way. We're as good as predicting the weather as we are predicting markets. Okay. And we're not that good and perfect on predicting the weather. What makes you think just because you have AI, it's also going to fix all that other stuff? It's not, because it's an international economy. Something happens on the other side of the world and your whole portfolio blows up. Um, we see what we expect, not the truth necessarily. So we expect to see something at the store. We expect to want to have it, as opposed to what we should be thinking. Uh, we like order, not ambiguity. So we tend to put things in nice little boxes because it's easier to deal with, even though the box might be wrong and the box might be wrong for us. Uh, Often when we make decisions, we're biased. We're not perfect in our decision making. Our brains are not perfect. It makes mistakes. Our brain is again designed to generalize. And if you really get into the brain science, we're not a computer. We're not Mr. Spock. Mr. Spock doesn't exist. We're more like McCoy, the crazy guy down in the engine room trying to make things work. And we're never as rational as we think. And we're always going to be human with our money. That's our default. If you get your head around that and you put steps in place to make the journey go in the way you want it to go, in the direction you want to go, according to you, you're probably going to be okay.
Wow, wow. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Dr. Wanda. Thank you so much, Ted. I know with the limited time that we have, I really wish we can stretch this, but unfortunately, we'll have to stick with our time. But thank you so much, Dr. Wanda, for sharing such a profound, much needed message around maintaining your solid mental health. Because if it's not well maintained, you're going to lose your cool. We'll find you out there with hidden signs of depression. We'll find you out there with mental illnesses that can be cured in the long term. But meanwhile, how can we get there for us to be able to maintain a solid mental health? Like you've shared, you'll have to have a vision about your life. Not everything can fit in your own capacity. You'll have to have a vision to select whatsoever sticks and whatsoever doesn't stick with you. So go with that. And also, like, to maintain a solid mental health, you should be able to take care of yourself. You should be like, I believe mental health goes hand to hand with financial literacy, honestly, because you're able to, if you're able to manage your own behaviors. Same thing in mental health, you should be able to manage your own behavior for you to have a peace of mind, for you to be able to be progressive in life. You'll have to be able to manage all that. Take time to rest. It's needed for you to be able to maintain a solid mental health. You just need to do that. Wow, what a profound, much needed message. You know, we can go on and on and on, but definitely I will go back and watch the replay for both Ted, for both Dr. Wanda, because this is much needed. Thank you so much. So at this moment, I believe Felicia is not joining. So I'm going to be the next and final speaker. But before I speak, what I'm going to do, I'm going to ask Ted to please share your screen with the link that I've sent you. And then I'll come back and speak. That's my bio for the audience.
Okay, we're starting again with the video, right?
Yes.
Okay, I got to bring that video back up.
Yes, and to our audience online, if you happen to have any questions for Ted, if you happen to have any questions for Dr. Wanda, please feel free to drop your questions in the chat box. I can see our audience, they are really giving us all the fire that we need, all the motivation behind them, all the love, wow, our audience have been really inspired. So to our audience online, if you happen to have any questions for Ted, if you happen to have any questions for Dr. Wanda, please drop your questions in the chat box. We're going to be able to come back and respond to your questions. So I'm going to be the next and final speaker at this time.
Okay, I got to find the screen again. There we go. Share. There. Come on. Okay, we good?
Oh, that's the old one. I sent you a new link. Sorry.
Oh, okay. Let me find the other one.
Yes, that's the old one.
Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah, technology is not on my end this time around.
Let me see what we got. Okay, where's chat? There it is.
Okay,
There are two of them. I just have the two links. I have my link. Oh, there it is. There it is.
Yeah. There you go.
Okay, same format.
Oh, I think you forgot to share the sound. Sorry, the sound is not playing again.
Okay, we got to do this again, huh?
Yeah, sorry.
Share. Da, da, da.
You have to stop sharing and then reshare again.
Okay.
Yeah.
Stop.
Yes, there you go.
Now share again. Okay, let's make sure we get everything going here. Share. Is that working?
Share sound. There you go. Thank you.
Rise to greater heights. Rise to greater heights. Because you need to be clear about your career goals in order for you to gain guidance on professional development. Really, my goal as a mentor or as a coach, it's so simple. My goal is to study your current situation, identify limiting beliefs and other potential obstacles that you might be facing, and then design a plan of inspired action to empower you to pursue success and drive sustainable. I think whosoever said that the sky is the limit was wrong. From today on, I, Dr. Riel and Kunene, believe that the sky is our point of view. Mom. So I think whosoever said that the sky is the limit was wrong. From today on, I, Dr. Riel and Kunene, believe that the sky is our point of view. So let's all rise to greater heights. Point of view. So let's all rise to greater heights. Rise to greater heights.
Dr. Nampumelelo Rial Kunene is an international human rights policy analyst who consults on policies and procedures related to human rights compliance. She is a highly sought-after, energetic, certified Lace Brown international speaker. This passionate leader holds a PhD with a discipline in leadership and business. Dr. Rial N. Kunene is the author and host to Rise to Greater Heights, a book and YouTube channel to turn your fears into greater success while seizing new opportunities. She is also a coach, mentor, and an MC, well known for encouraging many to rise from mediocrity into greatness. Her vision is not only to motivate, but also to empower audiences with a fresh perspective inspiration they require to pursue success and drive sustainable outcomes. In a seriously funny way, Dr. Kunene is an award-winning author, 10 times #1 Amazon and international best-selling author. Her #1 best-selling book, Rise to Greater Heights, has inspired and empowered many to pursue their personal and professional passion to become go-getters. As a trainer, diplomacy protocol officer, and strategist, Rial believes that we are in full control of our choices. Her mission is to meet the needs and transform lives of her clients and her audience. She is also a true advocate for creating new policies that uphold human rights and prevent human rights violations. Dr. Kunene's purpose is to teach everyone about human rights and help organizations understand and promote human rights. Her goal is to study your current situation, identify limiting beliefs, then design a plan of inspired action to empower you to achieve specific outcomes in your life. This change maker, trailblazer, and revolutionary is pushing boundaries and creating a real change worldwide. Like a phoenix that never accepted defeat and rose from its own ashes, she wants to challenge you to unleash your greatness and rise to greater heights. Dr. Rial N. Kunene wears many hats. As a professional certified sales manager, CEO, certified travel counselor, publisher, medical esthetician, philanthropist, and a commissioner for oaths, following her dreams gave her purpose to see her goals through and understand that she does have everything she needs to reach her full potential. Her everyday message is that your journey to be a better person starts with you. So knowing who you are to your core will make you understand that you are the only one who can accomplish your dreams. Hebrews 11, Psalms 27 and 40 keeps her to rise to greater heights. The sky is no longer the limit, but now the sky is our point of view. So let's all rise to greater heights. Kings and queens, please join me. Welcome, Dr. Rial N. Kunene.
Dr. Kunene, you're on mute.
After all this, wow, I'm so sorry. Wow. Sometimes we just keep going, keep going on and on and on. I was like, it's an honor, it's a privilege for me to be following after both of you. Ted mentioned everything under behavioral financial wellness. he mentioned that the conventional wisdom about money is so wrong because success and wealth, they are being created by focusing on actually managing your own behavior rather than managing your money. And then Dr. Wanda on the other side, she shared everything on maintaining a solid mental health. She said that you'll have to have a vision for your life, for you to be able to keep going, to be able to see the next step in your life. You should be able to have your own vision. And so today I just want to speak to every dreamer on this platform. I just want to speak to every builder. I want to speak to that visionary who's listening and watching under my voice today, and every person who knows deep down in their hearts that, you know what, I was created for more. And I know we have many of those individuals on this platform today. So my message today is just simple yet life-changing. You'll have to follow your passion and rise to greater heights. Follow your passion and rise to greater heights, because passion is not something that you really like. Passion is the fire God has placed inside of you. It is that one thing that keeps on calling your name even when life gets busy. It is just the burden that you carry, the vision that you cannot ignore, and the purpose that keeps on whispering, there is more in you. But the truth is, many people, they live their whole lives trying to fit into spaces that they were never ever designed for. They chase approval instead of purpose, and they settle for comfort instead of calling. They become who the world expects them to be instead of who they were created to become. Who can relate to this, honestly? So I'm here today to remind you that you were not born to shrink, kings and queens. You were not born to shrink, to fit into those spaces, but you were born to rise against all odds. You were born to rise to greater heights. So if you're that entrepreneur, maybe who dream of reshaping the world through your business and envision like several extra commas in your bank account, yet you find yourself like blocked in your journey to success, trust me, I am the answer. Oh, hi, by the way, I'm Dr. Riel Nkunene, and I'm not for the timid, but I am the rocket fuel that your business needs to blast past barriers and rise to greater heights. So as your business strategist and optimizer, what I do is that I empower motivated professionals to discover their full potential and also shift them into growth overdrive, from owning two diverse companies to having experience as a CEO and guiding Fortune 500 companies to helping multi-million-dollar enterprises. I believe that I have a distinctive talent for empowering high-achieving coaches, elite startups, and business leaders to become dominant forces in their industries, because I believe that the sky is no longer the limit, but now the sky is our point of view. So let's all rise to greater heights. Be the one in charge of your own driver's seat, kings and queens. Be the one in charge of your own driver's seat. You are the only driver here. So before I continue, I just want to take you on a short journey. 18 years ago, I left the country where I was born and raised, and I stepped into a completely new world. So like many immigrants, I carried more than just a luggage when coming to Canada. I carried my dreams, responsibility, and that quiet determination to make a difference. So I stepped off in the plane here in Canada with two luggages. One luggage, it carried my clothes, of course, and the other one, it carried something that was much, much more heavier, which was my dreams. Yes, my dreams that have traveled like more than 13,000 kilometers from a small African kingdom called Eswatini. I remember standing in that airport, surrounded by a new culture and a complete new system. And like many immigrants who cross borders, I had a quiet question in my heart. Do I truly belong here? Can someone like me really lead in this country? Because when you move across continents, trust me, you quickly realize something. You realize that no one knows your story, and no one knows your sacrifices, and no one sees the leadership that you carry inside of you. Kings and queens, you really don't have to see the whole staircase in life to get to the top, but you need to take the first step to get to the top. As my mentor always say, that you don't have to be great to get started, but you have to get started to become great in life. So get started today. So in that moment, standing in that airport, I had a choice. I could either spend my life trying to fit into those spaces that were never ever designed with women like me in mind, or I can actually rise and let my voice be heard. I don't know what's happening here on my computer now. Can you see me on your end, Ted? Ted? Can you see me?
Yes, I got you.
Okay, okay. Yeah, so like I was saying that I could either choose like to fit into those spaces that were never designed like with women like me in mind, or I could just rise and grow my voice and reshape what leadership looks like in those spaces. So I decided to choose the second path. And guess what? That decision I decided to take on that day, it changed everything about my life. And today, nearly 2 decades later, that young woman who arrived here with 2 luggages now stands before you as an international leadership strategist and also a global voice that is committed to helping others to rise to greater heights. But here's what I want you to understand today. My story is not the most important story on this platform. But your story is, if you're watching and listening under my voice, your story is the most important story that someone out there has to listen to it. Because somewhere on this platform, somewhere on this virtual platform, sits a future CEO, for example. We have future policymakers who are just watching and listening under my voice today. We have women whose leadership will change thousands of lives, and maybe you haven't fully realized it yet. And it's okay, because today we're gonna uncover all that. So it's a wake-up call. It's a wake-up call, kings and queens. It's a wake-up call to follow your passion. It's a wake-up call. But when that alarm clock goes off, please don't ever hit the snooze button. Don't be like, I will wake up in the next 2 minutes. I will wake up in the next 4 minutes. You know what? Forever is a long time. Why don't you wake up, get going, and follow your passion? So hear me clearly here today. Every mountain climber understands this. The higher you go, the harder the climb, but the greater the view. The higher you go, the harder the climb, but the greater the view. And all of you, I believe you can agree with me in this one. So I'm just here to encourage you that don't let temporary discomfort make you abandon a permanent purpose. Because sometimes in life, the very obstacles that you're facing today are not there to destroy you. Those obstacles are just there to develop you. You may ask me how. I'm glad if you asked that, because greatness is not built in comfort zones. Greatness is built in resilience. Greatness is built in obedience, and greatness is also built when you keep showing up, even when you don't see the full results, but keep showing up. And this is where many people miss their breakthrough, because they want elevation without preparation. And they also want the spotlight without the process. They also want success without sacrifice. Life doesn't work like that, kings and queens. Life doesn't work like that. You'll have to do all the sacrifice in order for you to be successful in life. You'll have to keep on filling your cup first in order for you to have an overflow in your life. So I remember myself sitting in rooms where I was sometimes the only African woman, and sometimes the only voice, sometimes the only voice representing a different global perspective. And in those moments, I realized something that was so powerful. I realized that leadership is not about where you come from as an individual, but leadership is about what you choose to stand for when you enter that room. So I just want to remind you today, just one truth, kings and queens. I just want to remind you that your background is not a limitation. Your story is your leadership power. And when professionals from different cultures, different industries, and different experiences step forward to lead, we do more than just advancing our own careers here. But what we do is that we transform the future of leadership itself. But one thing that you'll have to understand is that you can't give from an empty cup. You can never ever give from an empty cup. It's high time you fuel your cup first, and then from the overflow, you're gonna be able to share with the world around you. You can never ever give from an empty cup. So if you truly want to rise to greater heights, you must be willing to become the person that your next level requires. And that means growing your own mind, strengthening your own character, and honoring your calling. If you want to rise to greater heights, you also have to walk boldly, or even if the path is unfamiliar, you'll have to be able to carry yourself, walk boldly and with confidence, because your passion is not an accident, because your passion is an assignment, kings and queens. What you carry inside of you is not small. What you have overcome is never ever wasted. And what you've survived as an individual has prepared you for where you are going. And some of you on this platform have been playing small for way too long. You've been doubting your voice, you've been minimizing your gifts and delaying your destiny because you are waiting for that perfect time, and that perfect time will never ever come if you don't take action, because I believe that leadership is by design, not by default. Leadership, the type of leader that you want to become, you have to design it, and that's exactly why I created the Rise to Greater Heights Masterclass that is designed specifically for individuals like you and me, individuals who are just ready to move from potential to global influence. Because I've worked with entrepreneurs, I've worked with executives, I've worked with leaders across industries, and I noticed something. Many brilliant professionals out there, they are just working way too hard, but they've never been told how to strategically position their leadership globally. So it's high time. You always focus on your weaknesses. Like with me, I remember myself, I used to be like, how can I even begin to do this? Because who's going to understand me? I speak a different English, but yes, it's still English. So don't let those limitations not allow you to pursue your leadership influence. So it's high time, kings and queens, that you start focusing on your leadership influence. It's high time you expand your voice beyond borders, because the world does not just need talented individuals. The world needs visible, prepared, and influential leaders. So in this leadership experience, we go beyond motivation. We focus on strategy, we focus on positioning and leadership execution. And together we'll be able to explore how to position yourself as a credible leader internationally, and also how to build strategic influence and leadership authority, how to navigate leadership spaces with confidence and diplomacy, how also to expand your voice, your networks, opportunities globally. Don't just be limited to Canada, don't just be limited to the US, just expand globally, because leadership should not happen by accident, but it should happen by design. As flight attendants always say that put on your oxygen mask first before you assist the person who's sitting next to you, because if you don't, trust me, when that flight goes down, you will definitely go down because you forgot to put on the oxygen mask first to yourself before you even go out there and assist your children, maybe assist your spouse. So it's high time, because the reality is your journey to be a better person, it doesn't start with your spouse. It doesn't start with the next person who's sitting next to you, but your journey to become a better person, it starts with you. So knowing who you are to your core, it will make you understand that you have everything around you to reach your full potential. So don't ever, ever give up on your heart's desires. Just recall this, just in case you don't find your way, that you can have the drive within you to become what you really want in life. You know, I am a firm believer of affirmations. If you're watching and listening under my voice today, I just want you to affirm this with me. You're going to affirm it as if you're taking an oath by placing your left hand on your chest, and you're going to raise your right hand. Let's affirm this together, that I can have the drive within me. If you can affirm with me by placing your left hand on your chest and raising your right hand, say, I can have the drive within me to become what I really want in life. Can you say it one more time as if you have faith in your own powerful voice? And guess what? It will echo throughout the whole universe. Say, I can have the drive within me to become what I really want in life. You know what? Just give yourself a round of applause, because yes, you can have the drive within you to get where you want to be in the next 6 months, to become what you really want to be in life, because the drive is just inside of you. It's not from the outside of you. You know, it's so funny how my mom and dad gave me this beautiful, beautiful name, Nompumelelo. I know many, when they try to say my name, they always butcher my name, because really, Nompumelelo, really, in my own language, Nompumelelo, it means mother of all success. So you can see that I am really, really challenged to chase after success. No matter what comes my way, I'll have to chase after success. So if I may ask you, how many of you have dreams and goals that you want to achieve in the next 6 months? I know myself, I am one of those. I want you, as you think about your dreams and goals, to put this down. Rise to greater heights. Rise to greater heights, because you need to be clear about your career goals in order for you to gain guidance on professional development. So as a coach or as a mentor, like many of us here, my goal is so simple. My goal is to study your current situation, identify limiting beliefs and other potential obstacles that you might be facing, and then design a plan of inspired actions to empower you to achieve specific outcomes in your life. I so wish that you could just tell yourself that, you know what, I've had enough from all these amazing speakers. So it's high time I go out there and be the change and make a difference. But in order for you to go out there and be the change and make a difference, you've got to be hungry. You've got to be hungry like a hungry lion in the jungle. Really, that hungry lion in the jungle, it doesn't matter what kind of animal comes this way. It doesn't matter if you're that giant elephant or that small squirrel by the jungle. All that hungry lion sees in front of his face is lunch. Yes, it's lunch. And it's so funny though, because even with elephants, what they do when they see a lion is that they run. It's all about the mindset. Once you believe, you become. They already told themselves that, you know what, I'm allergic to that lion. So each and every time when I say lion, I'll have to run. I believe that's the lion mindset that we need in order for us to be able to rise to greater heights. That's the lion mindset, because I believe that we all rise together, and we rise by lifting each other up. We don't rise by tearing anyone down or maybe stepping over another person to get to the top, but we rise by lifting each other up. You know, it's so funny. When I was in the eighth grade, I was nicknamed Phoenix. I was nicknamed Phoenix after writing a composition using the idiomatic expression that says, I rose from the ashes like a phoenix bird. Meaning I became successful again. Really, that English teacher, she didn't know that the nickname Phoenix, it resonates with me. And it also aligns with my destiny. So for those of you who don't know the phoenix bird, the phoenix is a Greek mythological bird believed to rise from its own ashes after being buried like hundreds of years ago. This immortal creature, it acquires new life by rising from the ashes of its own ancestors, which represents our capacity for vision and success. So I want to encourage you, if you're watching and listening under my voice today, that when your world comes crashing down, wear your scars to show how a phoenix feels like to die from inside, and trust in your own capability to rise from your own ashes, since the phoenix has to die, burn, experience pain before resurrection from its own ashes. Please write this down in conclusion. Resilience to greatness. Resilience to greatness. And I know you've heard this before, that your setback is your setup for your comeback. Your setback is your setup for your comeback. So if I can be honest with you, I don't know what goals you've set for the next 6 months. I don't know what dreams you have for your own future. But here is one thing I know about you. You are destined for greatness. Inside of you, God has put seeds of excellence. And those seeds are supposed to grow and flourish. But many people have become crippled by their past encounters, and some have stepped over other people to get to the top. But I believe that with God, we're all destined for greatness as long as we follow his strategy. This is when the growth commences, because discovering your gift and following God's idea, it will make you understand that you have everything around you to reach your full potential. My everyday inspiration, Mr. Les Brown, he once said, if you had to die today, at this moment, at this hour, what dreams, what ideas, what visions, what goals, what skills, what talents, and what books will die with you? And the late Dr. Miles Monroe continued saying that the richest place on this planet is the cemetery, because that's where all the goals, all the visions, all the skills, all the talents have been buried. Honestly, I don't know about you, but with me, listening to all these amazing messages, it stirred something within me. And that was when I decided to follow my dreams, which gave me a purpose to see my goals through and understand that I do have everything around me to reach to my full potential. So this year, I'm also determined to rise to greater heights with as many motivated individuals. Maybe you are that individual who just want to start or maybe grow or scale your business within 90 days. Yes, it's possible. You can start and grow and scale that business within 90 days. Perhaps you're that individual who started writing your book and then you were like, I don't have time for this. You decided to put that manuscript aside. I'm here to encourage you that yes, you can still write and publish that #1 bestseller book, and that book will continue to sell because you've decided to put your mind in it. So I offer a free, no obligation, 30-minute friendly Zoom consultation call, which will kind of allow me to find out more about the issues that you're experiencing, and also to see if you're a perfect fit for any of my programs, because I work with individuals who really gonna gain something from me. So if you're interested maybe in becoming a public speaker, an author, a coach, or maybe that entrepreneur who just wanna multiply your income, just doing what you truly love and making a real impact out there, I just wanna empower you to become a highly effective and an inspiring leader with a personalized, measurable, but a scalable program. So go on my website and book that free consultation call with me at www.risetogreaterheights.com. Because you know what, growing up, I didn't have much in life because my father decided to have an early departure from this planet Earth. But I thank God that I missed that flight, because I'm still here. I'm still impacting many lives as much as I can, because I believe that I had everything because of my mama's love. And I love you, love you, love you so much, mom. So I think whosoever said that the sky is the limit was wrong. From today on, I, Dr. Riel and Kunene, believe that the sky is our point of view. So let's all rise to greater heights. So at this moment, I will let our speakers to share their final thoughts, and also to share how our audience can reach out to them, and also to share their freebie if they happen to have any complimentary service that they just want to share with the audience. So Ted, the stage is yours.
Oh, wow. That's powerful, powerful, powerful words. But watching the video and listening to you, it hit me that I need to share something that I hadn't really considered. Money behavior financial wellness is leadership. It's personal leadership to have your own house in order. It is professional leadership to ensure the folks you're working with are also aligned, and your systems, pay modes, money systems are also aligned to provide an environment for behavioral financial wellness. That's powerful.
Wow. Yes. Thank you so much, Ted. And how can our audience reach out to you again?
Yeah, my website, tedmcclyman.com. It's in the upper left-hand corner and also under my name. If you visit the website, you're going to find almost everything I talked about here. There's also a 3-step guide that you can download. It's no obligation, and it will walk you through 3 of the major drills that I use. It's a great source. I recommend, if you do nothing else, take a look at the book. It's available on Amazon. It's a easy read. It's 122 pages. I wrote it as a blog. It's written for people who hate books about money, but should read one, who never read books about money, but they need to. And it's a book you didn't read in school, but should have. There you go.
I love that. I believe that our audience will reach out to you and they will definitely grab your book. I'm gonna be the first one actually after this call, because we need financial education. So I will definitely go out there. I believe that I'm gonna gain a lot from you. So kings and queens, go out there, reach out to Ted McClyman.com. His first name, his last name.com. It's very easy. Thank you so much, Ted. I believe that our audience will definitely reach out to you and check your website too.
I really appreciate meeting you and your message. It's powerful. It's very powerful.
Thank you. I am so humbled that is coming from you. Thank you so much. Thank you. You can go ahead, Dr. Wanda, and please share with the audience.
So I, being a therapist, I do have private practice. So, and right now I don't have a website up because unfortunately it was hacked like the last time I had one. But I do have a public Facebook page. I am also repping a coaching arm into my therapy practice as well. So if anybody wants to get a free consultation to speak with me about that, it will be mostly focused on success, whether you are a student or you're in your career. I very much love both of those areas. And so you can find me, my Facebook page. Let's see, I think it's probably Minister Wanda Harris Johnson. It's a public page, so anybody can reach out to me on that. And then you can leave a message for me if you want to speak with me, if whether you're pursuing therapy or you want to pursue some life and success coaching, will be just fine. Or if you have any academic questions and you need some light advisement, like you're thinking about pursuing something further or going back to school and changing careers, I would love to engage with you on those topics. And so let me know how I can be of assistance to you.
Wow.
I'm
Wow.
so excited to have joined this podcast this morning. It's indeed been a pleasure and an honor to speak with both of you, Ted and Dr. Konani.
Yes.
Yes.
Mhm.
So it's been great chatting with you guys this morning.
Wow, it's an honor. It's an honor. I believe that really our audience will check out your page. And also, like I've mentioned, that you are the accountability partner. Someone really needs to guide, hold by hand, more especially on the. I saw that you are great on emotional intelligence, mental health, and like you wear different hats. So I believe that our audience will definitely reach out to you. Thank you for being with us, Dr. Harris. Thank you for sharing your profound message. And thank you so much, Ted, for pouring yourself out. You've really poured yourself out, both of you. We are so humbled to have both of you on this platform. We are so honored. I know that you are just committed individuals, but for you to be able to spend the 90 minutes with us here at Rise to Greater Heights Network, we don't take it for granted. So we appreciate both of you. We just want to say thank you. And I'll go back and watch the replay. I believe our audience will go back and watch the replay too, because really the message that you've shared today, it's educational, it's so inspiring. So thank you so much to both of you, amazing speakers. We appreciate you. And to our audience online, thank you so much for joining us here at Rise to Greater Heights Network, where you can always turn your fears into greater success while seizing new opportunities. I hope from all these amazing messages, from all these amazing speakers, you've been inspired, you've been motivated, and you are ready to rise to greater heights. So do join us next week at the same time, same place. Thank you. Merci. Sia Bonga.